Hello everyone, welcome back to part 3 of this replay. Vikings taking down that Mutalisk there, but Chrian losing a lot of his economy, only down to 360 minerals. His army, Chrian, at 3,300 compared to Executor's 3,050. So this large army of Hydralisks, which would have been moving much more quickly if it was on creep, now slithering out. Zergling's going to go ahead and try to take down this expansion over here, as Chrian is pretty much left with only 6 mineral patches here. He really needs to perhaps expand out into this location, otherwise he is going to get mineral lock. Now Executor once again expanding even further. A lot of the queens also, they're sitting on a fair amount of energy, no spawn larva. That's one of the greatest advantages of the Zerg. Zerg are able to macro up units like no one's business. Still no weapons upgrade, so not quite sure what's happening there, and still not mining out from every single extractor there. Executor sitting on 1,500 or 1,600 minerals, getting a lot of those units, and out come those Zerglings. Zerglings running ahead and away from those Hydralisks, so not moving those units in a group, and that is a definite problem. Mutalisk now pulling away. Are they gonna? Yeah, they're gonna go ahead and move on out. Hydralisk gonna go ahead and engage. No, not attacking and moving, and Executor just getting caught up in a really bad situation there. If he wanted to, he could have at least gone up to that high ground and been able to pull back with those units, taking significant losses, losing all of those Hydralisks so needlessly. Also, Marauders are upgraded 2-1, so those Marauders and those Marines better upgraded, and with Stim Pack, a Marauder should be able to take down a Hydralisk if it's upgraded in that aspect. Spine Crawlers now being placed down, Zerglings coming in as well, and now Vikings gonna move in on this front door, perhaps trying to focus down the rest of these Hydralisks. Hydralisks now getting into position here. Vikings in the air, gonna go ahead and land on the ground, or they should in just a moment. No, not landing on the ground, not offering support for their Marauder friends, but those Marauders should not have too much to worry about. Medevacs in the air, continuing to heal up these units. And wow, why aren't those Vikings landing? That would be just instantaneous destruction for this expansion. Spine Crawler finally getting taken down, and now Vikings starting to land. It's going to start to engage here. And these Vikings are essentially powerful Hydralisks as well. Even when they're on the ground, they have a range of 6, which is the upgraded range of a Hydralisk. On top of that, they deal more damage per shot, 15 compared to 14 compared to 12, and they also fire very quickly. So these Vikings are very strong on the ground, also very strong once they go ahead and hit the air. And Mutalisk now in the air, going to be able to destroy a lot of these Vikings. Vikings need to go ahead and re-engage, focus down those Mutalisks. Mutalisk quickly getting taken down. Should go ahead and drop back into that ground mode and finish off Executor's base. And Executor is now getting steamrolled, sitting on 3,000 minerals, not producing enough Zerglings. I don't know if he had he does not have the attack upgrades either for those Zerglings. Chrian says GG. That's a little bit bad-mannered for him. He should have put a little bit of a question mark in order to figure out what exactly in this, like, hey, is it going to be a good game or well played? Normally a GG coming in from a player indicates that, hey, I give up. Chrian explaining that he had this expansion over here forever, and now Chrian isn't even expanding even further, doesn't know about these particular locations. Executor should be trying to mass up perhaps some Hydralisks. Some Roaches would not be a good idea at this stage, no. Overlords finally able to move very quickly. They got that little bit of that orange bluish glow around them as well. I've never really noticed that until it's a giant pack. And Chrian just moving around with these units. Executor sitting on 3,000, probably should be training a queen out from here as well in order to produce or increase the amount of harvesting. Also did not right click for these drones, so these drones are just going to be sitting there, idle workers, when you could have been trying to increase your production count. Harvester count. Executor still able to mine much more per minute, but still not going to be able to deal all that much. Getting a lot of Spine Crawlers here, not dropping down Creep Tumors. Creep Tumors even are the only position where these units are able to go ahead and drop down. That Spore Crawler deals 15 damage and has a fairly high rate of attack. Vikings now, a single medevac with those Marauders now going to move on out, and really Chrian needs to take an additional expansion, otherwise he just may get steamrolled by Executor, thinking that he already won the game. So, more drones still being produced, spawning pool finally being put down, should have started building all this tech much much earlier. Den should be built down, a second spawning pool being built down by Executor. Really don't agree with 2 spawning pools. It's not like the Zerg things spawn from a spawning pool. More spawn larva from here. 3 spine crawlers on this front door. Queen has plenty of energy for transfusion, so that should work out fairly well. A couple of Vikings in the air, and also a couple Marines joining in on this fight. Finally, Chrian realizing that he needs to take an additional expansion. And at this point, what's the point in building another expansion? Just lift off your command center, drop it down over here. Both gases are already depleted. Marauders once again re-engaging, and now the Vikings should be able to deal a significant amount of damage. Zerglings don't go out. Zerglings... Yeah, that's why you don't. You take a look at his upgrades. His upgrades are upgraded 2-1. Now in come these queens, not even doing any transfusion, quickly getting focused down. Marauders and Marines just able to just overrun this position, as they should be able to, and then yeah, Hydralisk Den finally up and running, but not gonna matter very much. More spine crawlers. Perhaps you can make a mass spine crawler army with a single queen in order to, yeah, if you can just get mass spine crawlers, but still those spine crawlers do not get an additional armor upgrades. Those Marauders are dealing 24 damage per shot since they have that level 2 weapons upgrade. So one of those Marauders getting very high, 19 kills, now up to 3-1. So very nice upgrades for Chrian. SCV is sitting idle over here. SCV is sitting idle over here as well. Never a good sign when you have more than, or any amount of ICVs idle for that long. Those medevacs overexposed themselves as he did an attack move. Marauders and Marines and Vikings trying to do a little bit of engagement. Transfusion not available from the Queen to heal up the rest of these units, and the Executor is going to have to say GG. I'm pretty sure that is the rest of the game now. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit more of analysis from one of the Silver League games. Let me know how you guys like me casting lower level replays. It's sometimes frustrating for me, but this was more of as a favor to my friend, because he was telling me that he was stuck in the Silver League for some time. Executor, I hope you learned. Taking a little bit of notes. Also, spread out your overlords. Remember to spawn creep tumors around the map so you have additional movement upgrades. You could have got infestors. Infestors would have been a nice unit. Also, Ultralisk. You were already at Hive Tech. Ultralisk would have been very useful, as well as Ultralisk have a very wide splash attack radius on their front of their attack, so medevacs have a hard time trying to heal up all that damage, even though the opponent has Marauders. If you had the speed upgrade, you had the armor upgrades for those Ultralisk, those Ultralisks would have been able to take that damage, would have been able to catch up to its target and start destroying everything. Broodlords would have worked out well as well, but there's too many Vikings, so I can't discredit you for that. Thanks for watching again, and I hope you guys learned a little bit about gameplay here in StarCraft 2.